Tea with Mike, episode 21 with Nicki Middleton. So thanks for joining me today, Nikki.
Hi.
Okay, so today's freshest, coolest tea fact is tea first arrived in Canada in 1716, and it was imported by the Hudson Bay Company, and it took over a year to arrive, and that comes from teaanswers.com. So again, welcome to the show, Nikki. How's your day going?
Hi. It's crazy. It's Alberta, so it's snowing one second and sunny the next. And if you try and park downtown Calgary, good luck. There's nowhere to park. But first world problems, right?
What's your favorite type of weather?
Hot and sunny. So I guess I'm in the wrong province.
Great answers. So we'll just jump right into it. Do you want to start by telling the Tea with Mike audience a little bit about you?
Okay, my name's Nicki Middleton. I live in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I'm a full-time international model, fitness model, actress, and I actually distribute organic coffee and tea. And part-time avocational archaeologist, so a little bit of everything. And I'm on my 12th year of it all. So I'm here, there, everywhere.
Awesome. So let's dive a little bit deeper. How did you get started in some of your interests and professional career?
I am a business college graduate, and I spent many years in the corporate world. And then at 34, recession hit for the second time here in Calgary and wiped me out. I was a senior level bodily injury adjuster at the time in insurance. Then after a year and a half on unemployment, which I'd never been on before, I went back into insurance for 3 months and they hadn't recovered. So I was wiped out again. Went back into insurance again, into the investment side of things. And then after a year and a half of that, the boss sold the company and it wasn't a work from home thing anymore. And I just fell into modeling, and then I quit smoking after more than half my life. So I started going to the gym, fell into personal training. From there, went, oh, I can model with this. Because I was already modeling, and then fitness competition started, and then it was just a natural transition into, let's see what acting's all about, and the three tie in together, and we're going into the 2020 is going into the 13th year of it. So I went from corporate thinking this is what I want to do. I like a cubicle. I like what I do. I'll retire there, going into being an entrepreneur. So I just took my sales and marketing background and the personality. It takes a certain person to be an entrepreneur. If you're more of an ADD type person, you tend to juggle things better and you're okay with the feast or famine attitude. And so it works perfect for me. I can choose my own hours, and it's a lot of hard work. And I don't like it when people say, oh, you're lucky. I think you create your own luck. It's not like I sat around and things just happened for me. It was a lot of hard work and blood, sweat, and tears. But on the other hand, yeah, I can pick and choose when I work and when I don't work. So there's been any job or career that you're in, there's benefits and then there's down things to it. So it's just what suits your personality. And why do people say, well, why do you keep doing it? Why are you in the entertainment industry? It's hard. Well, because I like to eat and I like to put gas in my car and I like to pay my mortgage. So, and I'm a workaholic. So it all worked out in the end.
So what do you think, let's go down the entertainment industry path a little bit. What are some of the challenges of working for yourself in the entertainment industry?
I would say geography, location. Calgary has many talented artists and designers and musicians, and that they all tie into the entertainment industry, whether you model or you act or whether you're an artist or a musician. The problem is Alberta is not the hub. So there's a lot more arrogance and experience in this province, unfortunately. You have to be willing to dig outside of Canada and put yourself out there. And you have to be willing, I find it's everywhere in the industry, but I find it harder here. I have a harder time being successful in my own city than I am internationally, unfortunately. My fan base is larger outside of Alberta and larger outside of Canada. I think we have a lot of problems of not working together. I think we have a lot of jealousy here and a lot of backstabbing, unfortunately. So the challenge is trying to get along and be successful in my own city is the biggest challenge I find throughout the years.
Awesome. So let's say somebody like wanted to get started in 2019 or even moving into the new decade of 2020. Well, what are some of the I guess skills that they need in their toolkit in order to stand a chance in what is a tough industry?
Well, on the acting side of it, anybody can be a background actor. So if you want to, I always tell people, if you're not sure, or a lot of times people are like, I'm going to be an actor, I'm going to be a model, I'm going to jump into it. Worst thing you can do, yes, be driven and yes, be strong, but be realistic. Have an actual job that you do and start it as a hobby. So start it part-time, jump into acting, see what you really think of it part-time, because we always have an idea in our head. And our idea is always the celebrity side of things. Oh, it's
on the television, yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I don't lie on my social media. I have a lot of perks. I travel the world. It's amazing what I do, but there's a lot of downside. It's been blood, sweat, and tears. And even to this day, on my 12th year in the industry, people still kick my ass. I don't get everything I want, and there's always people coming into it. So everybody can be a model, everybody can be an actor, but the problem is that's great that we've opened that side of things up for more people, but then it's also what's called oversaturated. So everyone can be an actor, everyone can be a model. So there's up and downs to that, right? So it's you're always going to be competing because there's always going to be prettier and smarter and more experienced and more driven, and it's who you know a lot of times, not what you know. So you have to put all those factors into it, and you're always going to be fighting to stay on top. And then once you're on top, you have to fight to stay on top because people want to pull you down. So my strongest advice to people is start as a hobby, dabble in it, see what it's really like, and then decide if you want to make that transition into it. Because just jumping in and because I hear this all the time on the acting side of things. Well, that's how you get discovered. Well, far and few between outside of Canada, people get discovered. Okay, background now, but really, let's be realistic. How many times you're on set and the producer, director, or whomever has time to discover you out of 100 other background people walking across the street or sitting in a diner, and that's what they do all day. So it's nice to have those stories and those things do happen, but I think if you don't keep realistic, I'm not telling anyone don't follow your dream, just be smart and realistic about it, and instead of jumping into the ocean, maybe put some toes in and go from there. So start as a hobby and really get to see what the business is, whether you're going to model or act or fitness model or whatever it is you're doing, and see what it's really about. Knowledge is always a superpower to me. So find out what you think of it truly and see the dark side of it, because I mean, things behind the scenes are always different. You have an idea going in and then you go, whoa, that's not what I thought at all. So do your homework. do it as a hobby, and then if you're successful at it, do more and more. And if it becomes a full-time thing, then decide, okay, what do I want to do? And from there, decide what sacrifices are you going to make? Because 9 times out of 10, for example, you live in Calgary. Okay, I'm going to have to willing and be sacrifice and move to Toronto or move to Vancouver. So you have to really see what it's all about and see what the industry is like in your area and see how many other factors are for or against you, and then go from there. And the other thing is you have to be willing to put money into your career, but you also have to be smart about it too. So you don't want to hand your money to everybody that's a fly-by-night who, oh, I'll make you famous, give me $1 million and we'll do it. But you can't be like, well, I'm going to be a successful actor, but I'm not putting a penny into acting classes. Well, come on. If you're not going to dedicate time and energy and money into yourself, then no one else is going to do it for you. So just be really smart about the choices you make. That's what I'm saying. A long-winded answer.
No, it's all good. So in regards to the training aspect, kind of how important is it for people to stay up to date with current training and trends? And then also the secondary question, where are some good places to look if they want to consider taking some training at all different levels?
Well, any job that you have, you generally have to have skills and training for. So whether you're acting, you have to take some acting classes and find an agent and go from there. Whether you're modeling, you should you should be practicing modeling somehow, even if you're doing what's called TFP, so time for print. There's groups on places like Facebook. For acting or modeling, if you go on Facebook, you can find groups where you can act or model for free in return for getting the skills and the experience that you need. For personal training, there's sometimes you can go into a gym or a club that needs a personal trainer, and sometimes they'll just train you and then you'll have to put money into the courses they tell you to take. Or you can go online. A good one is called CanFit Pro, and that's I believe that's good in Canada and most of the US as well. So you can Google search anything nowadays. So Google search, and there's generally a group for anything that you want to do on Facebook as well. So those are the ones that I suggest. My acting agent, who is amazing, and I've been with her for years, her name is Wendy. And if you type in Faces of Wendy, she's always taking on new clients, especially people who are starting out and starting in the background side of things. So those are your things to do, is just practice, get experience, and move up from there. A lot of time for example, model side of things, well, I did one photo shoot and I've been a model for 6 months. How come I'm not getting paid $100 an hour? Well, be realistic about things too. Like I said, I'm going into my 13th year. I've been published in Vogue twice this year, in British Vogue. I've done fashion weeks all over the world, and I still do free modeling for exposure. You just have to make sure you're not overexposed. But my point is, I'm not too good to do charity, and I'm not too good that sometimes I'll do something free because that's what I need for my portfolio. Or sometimes I'll do it because, oh, that sounds like fun and there's no pressure. I'm not getting paid. I can just do it for fun. So the ones that, if you think that you're too good and you have to be paid for everything, you need, again, be realistic about it. So again, there's more of my advice. Look into things, put money into yourself, and things go from there. Not everybody can be an actor. maybe you don't enjoy it. Maybe you're not good at memorizing lines. Maybe it was harder than you thought. Not everyone can be a model. Maybe it's just not the thing for you and you can't get the connections you wanted, or etc. So be realistic. And if it's not your thing, or you're not going in, if you're going into it to be famous, don't even start. And that's what we were told 12 years ago when I got into acting. That's the first thing my acting coach told me. If you're here just to be a celebrity and be a big deal, then don't even start. If you don't enjoy what you're doing, the number one thing is if you don't enjoy what you're doing, it's going to come through. You're going to see it on camera. You're going to see it at the gym or wherever you're at. So if it's not your thing, that's okay. Give it a try. But don't put all your money into it and then be crushed because it didn't work for you. But don't sit there and go, oh, I can never do it, because doors are opening all the time for acting and modeling and fitness modeling and other things out there. We're ever changing. So maybe you weren't 2018, it wasn't for you. Maybe 2019 or 2020 or 21, things have changed again and maybe it's your thing. So don't give up, but be smart about it.
Awesome. And then so you've worked with quite a lot of big brands so far in your career. How were you able to go from starting off to getting some smaller gigs and then making the leap and scaling it to working for some bigger companies?
I took my business background and my sales and marketing background and turned it into, I was selling myself, for lack of a better way to do it. So I turned myself into a brand. And you start with a couple contacts and then it works into a few more and you just branch out until you're not really looking for the work anymore. And I'm not arrogant in any way, but I'm very confident in what I do. And that makes a difference too, being confident. I reach out to places not looking for people. And sometimes I give them the idea that, hey, you need me. So it's marketing 101. I'm just marketing myself. And then it just grows after a while. And as you get more experience, then there's more things you can be open to. And so it just goes from there and it just snowballs from there. I mean, everybody has to start somewhere and then you just build upon it every year. And after a while, you're not looking for work anymore.
Yeah, we're talking about social media and marketing yourself in the fitness industry, and you were talking about how your agent works for you and not the other way around. Can you elaborate on that a little bit more?
I'll start on there. So, for example, if a lot of people figure they sit around and work comes to them. And yes, your agent works for you, but there's also tools there, example, Actors Access. They can only do so much. If you see things that you think you'd be good for, then you should be telling your agent, hey, submit me for that. Your agent can only do so much, and it's your job to use the tools that are given to you to market yourself as well. You should be working together to keep you busy. And I think a lot of people figure, oh, I didn't get any work, so my agent sucks. The problem is, no, you suck because you're not doing the job too. How hungry are you? If you're not that hungry, okay, great. Things don't just come to you. And your agent, you don't pay your agent hourly wage. They're not your employee. They're managing and marketing many people, including you. So yes, they do their best, but if you want more over and above, do your work too and go over and above. You're only as successful as you want to be. So that's how I look at it. If you're just sitting around waiting for life to hand you things, you're going to be pretty sad when it doesn't.
And so when you were first starting off in the industry, what were some of the ways a few years ago that you marketed yourself? And can you talk a little bit on how that's changed with the emergence of social media and digital?
I started out with social media. I started out mainly Facebook,
Okay.
and then Instagram it was Facebook, then Twitter, then Instagram. Twitter's kind of fallen off the wayside. I forget half the time it's even there, to be honest. Um, uh, Instagram and Facebook work very well together because you can attach them. So I just added Instagram as it came. And the number one marketing tool out there still is word of mouth, though. The old age word of mouth,
Still works.
no matter what industry you're in, makes a difference because it's not what you know as much as who you know. And that's always been the way it is. And we can pretend that it's not that way, but it is. I mean, I've had opportunities because I've known certain people. I've had to back it up with my experience and talent, don't get me wrong, but it's not all to do with my talent. It's like I said, a lot of times it's and how you market yourself. We were talking about that today. I was a girlfriend of mine. I was at one of her talks on entrepreneurship. She deals in the music industry side of things, radio talk show
Oh, cool.
to do with music, and she's great. Tailor-made radio here in Calgary. And she's talking more on the event side of things and the music side of things. But same thing, it's who you know, not what you know, and market. And just finding, we were talking about separating personal and business. And unfortunately, because of social media, you can't do that.
Can't do that.
So you can have tea with Mike, but those people are going to find your personal Facebook, your personal social media, and say on Tea with Mike, you're a great guy. And then we go into your social media and you're like, F this and everyone sucks. And you're bitching daily. You're negative 24/7. Unfortunately, we shouldn't, but we're going to transfer that into what your company's about, and people aren't going to deal with you. So, social media, the number one thing, I think people shoot themselves in the foot because they have a great company going and their web page on Facebook is amazing, but then you go into their personal and they're just this negative, judgy human. Well, sorry, you don't want to buy that product off them. You'll go somewhere else to buy the same product. So you have to look at that too. Don't be fake because I mean, we all have bad days. But if all you're doing is ranting, it's a problem. On the other hand, if you're rainbows and sunshine 24/7, no one's going to buy that either. So there has to be a happy medium, but they're going to tie, even if you have two different personas, they're still going to tie your personal and your business life together. So you have to be very careful how both sides are put forward in social media in the world.
Awesome. And then so as we come to the end of 2019 and moving into another decade, wow, that's gone fast. What are maybe some goals that you have both on your bucket list professionally and also even personally?
Quite a few I can't speak about because on the acting side of things, we have what's called an NDA, which is non-disclosure agreement, and sometimes on the modeling side as well, which sucks for me because people say, oh, what are you up to? What's upcoming? And you're like, lots, but can't tell you about it. So I have some pretty neat movies coming up, etc. And short documentary based on or about my life in the industry is going to be upcoming and playing in the New York Film Festival in the new year as well. I can talk about that one. I'll be published in Vogue again in March, British Vogue again, so that's exciting. And then a few other things that I can't discuss, unfortunately, but quite a few things upcoming for the new year already. I have an award coming up in Scotland for Best
Nice.
International Model for 2020. That's in March for Scotland, Aberdeen awards coming up, and Runway. It's their fashion week as well. So that's pretty exciting to get that award. So a few things upcoming. On the acting side, there's a few things coming as well. Like I said, can't talk about it. So took a year off, so I'll probably be competing again in November of 2020 on the fitness side of things. So I'm excited about that. So that's about it that I can talk about.
It's the pro, but yet the challenge, isn't it?
It is, because you're always putting your best foot forward on social media. So I'm sure there's people out there who are like, sure, you can't talk about it. That's because there's nothing really happening. But honestly, no, we get tied with these NDA agreements, and it sucks because you have to keep your lips shut. But you really want to tell people the exciting stuff coming up. So
yes, but at the same time, you gotta follow the rules of the
it's
industry.
a double-edged sword, because you're like, darn it, I just want to tell people because it's exciting, but you can't.
And then personally, doing anything fun? Any free time, traveling?
I travel so much of the year with work that I like my free time to actually be home and doing nothing. That's exciting to me. My grandmother who raised me is 87 in April, so we try and travel once a year. So I'm excited to go see family in Ontario in the new year. So her health has been a little touchy the last few weeks, but we're getting that under control. So
Good, glad to hear.
Hopefully January, February, somewhere around there, we're going to do a trip to Ontario, because I was born in Hamilton, Ontario. So we're going to see family and do a trip. The last couple years were all about making memories together, because I'm not grim, but I'm realistic. She's not going to live forever. And so we always look at it, this could be the last Christmas, this could be the last trip. So we try and do whatever we can together to make the memories now before it's too late, because I don't want regrets later.
Awesome. Got any closing thoughts for this conversation and episode?
Live, love, lift. That's my motto, and that's what I live by. And I want people to know that 98% of the time I'm actually very confident, upbeat, caring human. So what I do put on my social media isn't rainbow and sunshine. It's actually, I am positive 98% of the time. So I've been successful because who you see outside of the industry is who I am in the industry. I don't have a persona for work. If I'm acting, of course I do, but otherwise who you get outside of work is who you get at work. I'm who I am, and I stay down to earth and grounded. I go to work and I come home and I live my life. So there's no fakeness on my social media, and that's my brand.
Awesome. So some very thoughtful, kind closing words. So thanks for joining me today on Tea with Mike.
Thanks for having me, and have a great day.
Hey, you too. Bye.
Okay, bye.